Hello out there. My name is Laolu Akonde, and you are on to Inside Sources. Today, I'm going to be skipping my take because I'm going to have a panel conversation and a conclusion of my conversation with retired AVM Olatunde that was started on Friday. Inside Sources will be right back. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today I'm leading the show with a conversation on quite a few issues in the polity, and we are leading with a discussion about the so-called fake presidential agency. You will recall earlier in the week, a few days ago, a statement came from the presidency that detailed some of the things that had been in the public domain previously. To join me in the panel today to discuss some of these issues, I have to my immediate right, Malam Baba Yusuf, strategist, policy advisor, and the group CEO of GITC. Malam, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much for having me yet again, Prof. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. To his immediate right and my far right is Mr. Etim, veteran journalist, author, and retired banker. Etim, good to see you again.
I'm pleased to be here.
All right, good. So let's start with what I did say about this fake presidential agency. Mr. Bayo Ononuga, I think on Wednesday, issued a statement and said that, well, look, this matter has been on. The chief of staff, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, was actually the one that blew the whistle. And he said that Mr. Gbajabiamila, the chief of staff to the president, sent a letter to the police and the DSS in October 2025. That's about 7 months ago. So at least that means he must have known about it before that time. We don't know exactly when he knew about it. But I want us to start the conversation, and I'm going to start with you, Malam Baba. So between that October and now, we have 7 months. In your own view, as you give us your opening take, do you think that government, have they had enough time to tell us more in terms of, what really happened? Because Mr. Ononuga's statement did not say how it is that the guy got, this agency got a CBN account, got on the budget, and got a federal secretariat office.
Thank you very much. Another sad, development in our polity. Very unfortunate. And there is no other way to say it as a Nigerian. And I believe teeming numbers of Nigerians that have a drop of blood flowing through their veins, including those denying. And this is one of the lowest low. And your question is very germane. The petition by the chief of staff to the president, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, went out in October. We're in July, and all we have from government is applying, the plausible deniability approach. You are the public speaking practitioners. Plausible deniability is for government to deny, what is happening, whether it is real or not. But we had a discussion here about the warped nature of the communication strategy of government. This is not about, plausible deniability. This is already, an issue that has blown out, that has blown up. And so the application from a strategic perspective is to do damage control. And the only damage you can control is to face the reality. Bottom line is this. This matter is at the presidential level, not at state level, not at local government level. Wow. And this matter is not just at presidential level, at the presidential villa level. Prof, you operated in the presidency, and you know what I mean. This touches the core of governance in Nigeria. And indicting, the chief of staff to the number 1 citizen of this country, commander-in-chief, right? Now, for you to say there were, petitions to investigate from October to date, that all the government is coming out with this plausible deniability tells you that we are very, very unserious. And during this conversation, we are going to talk about the potential impacts already of this. Because within 48 hours, these micro phantom organizations profile and whatever they are doing will be sorted out by one of the 12 or 13 security and prosecutorial agencies in Nigeria if they want to do that.
Absolutely.
But the revelations and the data before everybody, both in and outside Nigeria, tells you clearly there is more than they are saying. And the issue with this is the more they talk, the more the issue becomes the stench and the pungent smell, comes. And so for me, I'm highly, highly disappointed with the feedback because, like I said, 24 hours is enough to know the root cause of this issue, to deal with this issue. It appears now they are trying to find a way to kill the story. As we speak, I will talk about the precedence of this issue and why this is not the first time it is happening. But the truth is, the government needs to take a better position than this. Because like I was saying before we came online, even my daughter is shaking her head and saying, what is this?
Look at that. Thank you. Etim, your opening comment on the matter.
This is the most bizarre, the most ridiculous, and the most unbelievable scandal that has engulfed this country since 1960, not 1999. It is worse than ever. It is worse than what we saw during Abacha, and far worse than whatever we saw during Buhari. Babache Lawal didn't do one-tenth of this, and he was fired. It is enough for Femi Gbajabiamila to go, and he should be arrested and prosecuted. I believe he knows more than we are told. And you recall in 1974 when Watergate erupted in US,
Right.
It led to the resignation of the president
Right.
when he was to be, of course, indicted and impeached. But before then, Americans were asking, what did the president know and when did he know
At
it?
what point? Yeah.
That's the question I'm asking this evening. What did President Tinubu know about this scandal? And when did he know it? At what point was he briefed? Who briefed him and when did he know? How can a fake agency that we are told never existed legally have budget allocation, have office at federal secretariat, met with diplomats and ambassadors, and receive trade delegations, and met with chairman of EFCC,
and met with
chairman of EFCC,
exactly.
open accounts with CBN, open accounts with commercial banks. Goodness me.
Okay, all right. So to delve into it, I'm coming back to Malam. You had said that you wanted to also talk about some of the precedent, and I'd like you to do that. And in doing that, I want you to, so let's break it down, in real specific terms. That how was this possible? Who and who will have had to collaborate? The man has said, Adeyemi Matthew Prince. I think that's his name.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Adeyemi Matthew. He has said, actually on our channel, that, hey, I'm not a con man. As a matter of fact, he has hired Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria, who is also a human rights advocate as his lawyer. So in your own view, and then talk about some of the presidents you have in mind, how could this have happened? What has to happen? And you also have quite a bit of government experience too.
Yes. Very well. It is very clear from the position of Prince Adeyemi, the gusto with which he is engaging on this, that, like my people say, idan makaho yace ai wasan jifa ya zauna akan buhun dutse, that when a blind man tells you, let's play throw me stone, I throw you stone, he's sitting on a sack of stones. Adeyemi knows why he's doing this. And this, to answer your question directly before I expand, can only happen at the highest level. The rot in the governance framework of Nigeria is not new. And that is why you can see the pushback the way it is going. And without even going through the technicalities, basic facts tells you the involvement of almost all the arms of government and all the strata of government. For a fake agency to be appropriated for in the 2026 budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Capital and operation, we call it CAPEX and OPEX. Capital expenditure, operational expenditure, or recurrent expenditure.
Right.
Approved by the House of Reps Appropriation
And the
Senate Appropriation Committees and the Committees of the Whole. And then goes to the President for assent. Don't forget there's a process of budget.
Right.
Don't forget that the office was already is already operational even before the 2026 budget.
Yeah.
The allegation of over 400 million to be given to Femi by the Abiyamila as advanced, as stated, as alleged by the Prince Adeyemi and all that. Okay? Now tells you the level at which this kind of scum is happening in this country. But now to lay credence to this, when you ask Malam Baba, why are you saying so to the sycophants and speakers of that? Why are you saying so? Say, why not? Presidents. We are here not too long ago. In May 2020, when we have the off the mic saga, when interestingly the current Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, was the then Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs, NDDC, and the macabre dance in the National Assembly. When you have the House of Representatives Committee on NDDC, probing or investigating an over 80 billion naira scam in NDDC, chaired by, interestingly, yours sincerely, the current Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo.
They're all
And
back.
then when this thing came, and Akpabio said over 60% of the contract awarded by NDDC is awarded to the members of the House of Assembly. And then that is when the famous off the mic by then Chairman Tunji Ojo came. And the rest is history. They asked him to retract. They ordered a forensic audit. Of course, he retracted, but what happened? The forensic audit was done, but we found out later they announced that the document has gone missing. Till today, that matter has been swept under the carpet. Under the same regime, the issue of the former MD of NDDC, Nunue, that brought issues of financial misconduct, intimidation. Yes, Joy Nunue. Raised a lot of issues against the then Minister Akpabio, who is the current Senate President. Prior to the issue, you know what happened. We must give credit to whom the credit is due. Then Governor Wike had to intervene to avert a tragedy where the same woman, as a whistleblower, they sent police from the headquarters to go and arrest her. It was Wike that intervened and kept her in his house.
In Porous.
Under the same regime again, you have the drama of a professor that pretended to faint in front of the committee investigating NDDC, and that very terrible spectacle that happened.
And that the professor was the acting
CEO, CEO of NDDC. And he was pretending to faint, and you saw what happened. And that is why some of the reasons why, even as far back as 10 years ago, interestingly, is a poignant reality. May 2026, then Prime Minister David Cameron described Nigeria and Afghanistan as the two most fantastically corrupt countries in the world. When our then president, new president, Muhammadu Buhari, was one of the dignitaries that will attend the anti-corruption summit that was convened by David Cameron. That is to tell you how the world is looking at us. Now, to tie this up, envoys, trade envoys, ambassadors of countries were attending this phantom or fake council office and engaging this man. Do you think already there is no security and trade report that has gone back to their country based on what is unraveling now? Do you think those countries already, we know the trust deficit? Do you know how low it will go at a time when they are pursuing our fellow citizens like rat out of the hole from South Africa, from Ghana, from everywhere? So it is not even enough that we are managing insecurity, multidimensional hunger, multidimensional poverty, and failure of leadership at federal and subnational to provide leadership. We are not managing enough that as an innocent citizen, whether it is on the street of Dubai or South Africa, anywhere, you are being looked with a scorn. We have already been labeled as criminals, that the government itself is positioning itself not just to be seen to be, but to be confirmed to be that it is condoning criminality.
Wow.
As far as I'm concerned, the way and manner the pushback is coming from government makes me to feel that should we rethink Nigeria? Because I have that right. I told him my daughter is worried. This is a girl that is under 20.
Wow.
And she's asking herself. And then if she, by the way, I was telling you on a lighter note that she decided, by the way, for the lawyers, my daughter says she doesn't want to do law again. She's already doing computer science in the university. Why? Because of the way and manner the youths are perceiving leadership in this country.
Yeah.
And to learn to tell you, there is no how this would have happened without the involvement of the dramatis personae as the gatekeepers of leadership in the executive, in the legislature, and the key critical stakeholders. However, there are some key players I believe in Nigeria that I call the good guys.
Okay.
That have no power to do anything but to look on. Sadly, they are part of the system. And that is why I talk about change can only come in Nigeria if we look at leadership from the perspective that leadership is a value chain. You can see when a rotten value chain is when the value chain is rotten, this is what you have.
Okay. I mean, very, very, very interesting dimension. So to take it deeper, as I take it to Etim. So there is the, before Mr. Ononuga made that statement on Wednesday, this matter has been on, I'm sure, for no less than 2 weeks in the social media. And so the allegation came from Prince Adeniyi Matthew that he actually procured
the appointment,
the DG position, and that he made some payments.
Yes.
And that there was a balance.
Yes.
And then there is also the information out there that what happened essentially was that there was a disagreement on what will happen next. There are insinuations that the problem was around how the allocation to this fake agency will be spent.
Yes.
That was how the trouble started. And then there is a story of a Tanimola, who we are told, died in a, curious fire incident in an hotel. So the question to you, Mr. Itimetim, is that why is it that the federal government is not, why don't we have heads rolling already if all of these things have been out there? And like I said earlier, even the president's statement said that Gbajabiamila knew by October. Why is this? No heads rolling.
That is the most baffling aspect of it all. And that is why Nigerians are asking the president to speak up. Mr. President, what do you know about this? And when did you know about it? Because it is at the heart of the presidency. There is nobody, no official closer to the president than the chief of staff. He sees him first thing in the morning for briefings, and he sees him is the last person to see him. Prepares his schedules, brief him on everything. Ministers report to the president through him. So how could this have happened? And it's rocking the presidency, and it's involved his chief of staff, and the president is quiet. What did he know?
Well, the statement by Mr. Ononuga is a presidential statement. So that
means
that's our
no,
point.
no. This is beyond Bayo.
Okay.
Bayo should no more be talking. Bayo should keep quiet. We want to hear from the president, and we want to see the actions he's taking. One, to save his presidency. Two, to save the country from this humiliation.
But I wanted to also address the issue of Tanimola, the guy that they said.
Clearly, this is how mafioso work. If you are working in between the mafia and another party, and when the matter blows up, the first victim is the intermediary.
Allegedly.
Yes,
allegedly.
Yes, you are the first victim because you know so much. So Prince Adeyemi claims that Tanimo was the one he gave 400 million to give to the chief of staff, and the balance of 200 million is still outstanding. Total payment was to be 600 million to procure the payments. But that is not the cause of the problem. The cause of the problem is that Adeyemi said he was to pay the chief of staff part of the takeoff grants that this agency was to receive. These are very grave allegations.
Very, very, very grievous.
And names is mentioning names.
Very, very, very grievous. Okay.
So it's clear that money passed through Mr. Tanimo to either the chief of staff or whoever.
Or
It's
somebody.
likely.
At least
Whoever,
that's the allegation.
allegedly,
Yes.
as the allegation goes. So that is the trail. The dead guy is the link man, and the first victim is always the link man.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Adeyemi says he himself is under threat, that he's in hiding.
Yeah. You said that,
That they want to kill him.
that his life is under
His
threat.
life is under threat, in
You know.
danger.
But he affirms that he's not a con artist.
Yes, he said he's not a
On
consultant, that he
national
has a letter of appointment. He says,
And the fact that Falana has taken the case, gives it a different.
Dimension.
yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Falana would not have taken a frivolous case.
I
He
imagine-
knows-
I imagine.
We know him.
There's something that I also want to add before we conclude and move to the next matter. So, if you look at the names of the agencies, according to Mr. Nonuga's statement, it says that there is the fictitious Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, cum Presidential Economic Advisory Council. Now, I can say that the Presidential Economic Advisory Council is not fictitious.
I agree.
I can say that.
also
It's
agree.
been
And
existing.
I'm
Mr.
aware of
Nonuga
that.
ought to be aware
Yeah,
of
he
this.
should know that.
There is indeed, or there was
There was.
indeed, a Presidential Economic Advisory Council. The fact of the matter is that the Tinubu administration may not have taken it on.
Yes.
Used it. But did they do the due diligence of deleting it? Because I have an experience, and I'm going to also share it. So when we were in the villa, the president in the first time considered delegated economic management to the vice president. So he did not appoint a chief economic advisor. I want you to follow the story. He did appoint a chief economic advisor. Okay? But guess what? The budget item for the chief economic advisor was still being fed. And that office is located in the office of the president. So, even though there was not a chief economic advisor,
Active.
yeah,
There was allocation to it.
the allocation to it
It was funded.
was funded. And then the journalist then wrote a story, and that journalist very maliciously now said that it was the special advisor on economic affairs in the office of the vice president that was spending the money. But of course, that was malicious, and I think the gentleman, excellent public service man, Ambassador Dipelu, economist, of course, sued, and I'm sure he got reprieve. But the point I'm making is that, so the budget was going
To that office.
even
though there was no.
There was no. So even though the president may not have appointed anybody, quote unquote, to this Presidential Economic Advisory Council, the money will be going there if there is no diligent approach to remove it.
Very good point.
Which is
Very good point.
where I'm going to land. One of the things that we try to do, and we're going to, this is, we have to say it,
Yes,
because, we're there. The vice president, under whom I served, Professor Shibajo, came up with the idea at the very beginning of it. Said, look, we need to change the budgeting system. We should use a zero budgeting system.
Yes.
Whereby every year,
Yeah.
people will come up with what they want
to do for the year.
compared to the envelope system that assumes
Yes.
that, okay, that was how much you got last year.
Yes.
It was heavily
Rejected.
resisted.
Resisted.
It was as if there was going to be a civil war. The way they resisted it. That a zero budgeting system would have avoided
Yes, it would have taken care of it.
these kind of problems. If you guys understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely. I totally.
Because everybody will have to come on the basis of
So it
zero.
will weed off.
But so when Mr. Onga said that there is no presidential, there is.
There is. Yes.
And I'm not sure that they have properly deleted it. So we can say that we can understand how money
was going.
Yeah, because
And
I have
diverted.
and
Potentially.
because I have an experience of where the office of the chief economic advisor was still being funded.
Even though there was no on the office.
You know. But anyway, let's. I don't know. Do you have any quick comment before we move on?
For me, let me land on this. To be honest, I expect the president to do better. We are in an election year. This administration has been seriously bashed for the right and for the wrong reasons. I expect Mr. President to demonstrate that which some of the advocates of Mr. President advocate. That is the right man that is leading and is the right man that should come back again on second term. Mr. President, even our children that are underage are becoming skeptical about the integrity of governance in Nigeria, not necessarily just your administration. But like I mentioned in the precedents and what is happening and potentially the future, that tells us what kind of government you are running, your level of involvement in this, your level of acceptance of this graft or not, Mr. President. We need you to take a position. And I believe as the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, within 1 week, this matter can be brought to a proper conclusion so that Nigerians and the international community will not continue to see us as fantastically corrupt.
Thank you.
Well, my own short line on this is that many Nigerians are not totally surprised at what is happening. First, we have seen dead people being given appointments in this administration.
Well, I mean, even before this.
Even before this.
Okay, we have seen that.
Structural, yeah.
Okay.
It's a structural issue, systemic issue.
Yeah.
We have also heard that some people bought appointments.
So that one is rampant. We are hearing.
I know
I
of
agree with
people.
you.
I know of people in this administration, and even in the last one, that lobbied and spent money heavily to be made ministers.
Yeah. Look,
And they were not.
I mean, it's just,
So if these problems are in existence in this country,
Should be addressed.
so it is clear that this is a very big case in which somebody was being funded and now he is being denied and thrown under the bus.
what happened?
What happened?
All right, thank you guys. Let's take one more issue. Our time is fast spent, but I want us to talk about at least one more thing, and I think we should talk about, the terrorists who went to Mecca. So we have the case of a number of terrorists who apparently may have even been sponsored. I mean, that's an allegation, and they made it through our airports. I think it's the Kano airport, went to Mecca, but thank God, on the return, they were arrested. My worry, and I want us to just do 1 minute each and then we close it. My worry is that not only is it that these are terrorists, how come they even pass to the airport, but the people that sat with them, on the flights, the level of the exposure. These terrorists are killers, But what's your take, Malam and then Etim? Please, as brief as possible. We have only 3 minutes.
Well,
left.
quickly, I give kudos to the authorities this time around for flagging it, the DSS on return to arrest them. But I want us to also, while commending them, please, with profound respect, remind them. In 2005, a wanted bandit and kidnapper, Yahya Zangu, was arrested by the DSS in the Abuja Hajj camp, disguised as an intending pilgrim who would have gone but for the screening. He was arrested.
That was in
2005, last year, May.
2025.
Sorry, apologies. 2023 and 2024 also, for the Hajj operations for those years. Suspected bandits, their wives and informants were also arrested at various times. What am I saying? This is showing us a trend. Of course, I also note and acknowledge Honorable Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Ojo, has come out during the press conference to mention that now they have the systems in place, and that is how they are able to arrest these people. But I'm saying, what about 2025? What about 2003, 2024, 2020, 2023? We continue arresting these people. I know we have a judicial process, but can we please, like I have advocated in the corporate world, a part of the KPIs of auditors and compliance officers and risk managers is not about what they have done when something has happened, But what are the proactive measures?
To
What are the
prevent.
proactives to prevent this? They shouldn't have even left Nigeria in the first place. They should have been
Yes,
dead.
they shouldn't.
But that being said, I think going forward, the countermeasures are for people not even travel. First of all, like you mentioned, the trauma, the emotional and psychological trauma. For those that don't even have to see them in the picture, that these were the people that were slaughtering people that were with them. And it also brings down, largely so, the level of respect that Saudi Arabia has for us. And that is why they keep on reducing the quota of Nigerians traveling, which is impacting innocent citizens, around the world. That even now, it is not even drug traffickers again. Even bandits and kidnappers and terrorists can go on a leisure or on pilgrimage. I don't know what they are telling God in Hajj, but bottom line is this should stop. We should be more proactive, not reactive.
Thank you.
It is important that through upgraded biometric system, we were able to flag these people and arrest them on their return. But the question is, how did they even, in the first instance, have access to our passports? That's very worrying. And that shows the level of porosity in the system. As we speak, a senior advocate of Nigeria is being tried for obtaining passports for another transaction altogether.
Yeah. That's Ozekome.
Correct.
Whose senior advocate title has been
suspended.
Yeah.
So I asked, does it mean that it is so easy to obtain a passport, so much so that even terrorists would walk in and collect a passport and travel abroad?
Honestly.
I said very soon they will be in the Senate and House of Reps and potentially governors. What more remains? God forbid.
God forbid. God forbid. Thank you, gentlemen. It reminds me that even when I was in New York, you have a number of West Africans from Ghana, Gabon, Senegal,
pretending to be Nigerians.
Yeah,
they were flashing our passport.
But I think like you also said, this guy, this interior guy, we give him quite a bit of credit. That he's trying to wrap it up, but tidy the thing up so that we can be secure. Yeah.
And action talks. Don't just talk. We talk big, but we act small. Performance is measured by impact, not by events and speeches.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Malam Baba Yusuf and Mr. Etim. Thank you for coming to Inside
Pleasure
Sources.
anytime.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Like I said on Friday, we will be concluding this conversation with retired AVM Shayo Olatunde, who has written a compelling book titled Beyond the Symptoms, Tackling the Roots of Nigeria's Insecurity. And like we said on Friday, he identified 5 vital root causes of insecurity in the country. And we were talking about that. Corruption, porous borders and ungoverned spaces, socio-political polarization, ineffective police force, and defective defense architecture. So, General, I remember that where we stopped on Friday was talking about, that corruption thing. I wanted to ask you one more question before we move to other things. There are many people who believe that among the people in our security architecture, military, police, and other things, that this insecurity has even become some kind of a racket, some kind of a industry, and that may itself, be part of the reasons why we are dealing with the problem.
Thank you very much. I think when you talk about corruption, it's a national problem. For instance, now, you see, and corruption is not just the mismanagement of funds.
True.
No. Because when you are doing the wrong thing, it is an aspect of corruption too. So not doing things the right way, mismanaging fund, nepotism, and all those things, they are elements of corruption. For instance, now, if you appoint someone, maybe not even in the military now, to a particular office that is not competent to hold, that cannot make meaningful impact.
That's corruption.
On this. It is. And you see it affecting even the military. So you see, corruption is everywhere in the country. And like I said on Friday, that the problem of corruption is that there is impunity. If it is corruption with impunity in our country, like I said in the book too, if there are stringent punishments that would discourage people from corrupt practices. Things will improve within a short time.
Okay.
Because you have to count the cost before you go into those practices.
I like the counting cost part. Now, so let's go to the second point. I talked about porous borders and ungoverned spaces. On page 184, you said, porous borders constitute a principal component linked to several other major drivers of insecurity in Nigeria. These include expansive ungoverned spaces, proliferation of small arms and light weapons, proliferation of illicit drugs, and the influx of foreign terrorists into the country. He said, additionally, porous borders facilitate illicit war economies such as illegal mining, contribute to skyrocketing unemployment, and exacerbate socio-political instability in the Sahel region. The insecurity associated with ungoverned spaces, the ease of smuggling arms and narcotics, and the cross-border movement of terrorists are all direct outcomes of weak border management. So I'm going to ask you to dwell on this a little bit more. Against the background of something that just happened recently in the news, where we found out that some terrorists were actually able from Katsina State to go to Mecca. Terrorists went to Mecca, retired general, to go and do Hajj, and the money to get out of the country through our airport borders, speaks to what we are talking about here, and then came back. But thank God, they were arrested when they came back. So knowing all of these things, which is also what we're talking about, give us a little bit more insight into your own findings.
Okay. Now, this is very important. This aspect is very important. For instance, now, when you look at porous borders, porous border, through it, you have influx of drugs. You know that terrorists, insurgents, they live on drugs.
Yeah.
So they are able to bring in the drug.
Normal people can't do those things without
It's not. Yes.
Yeah.
So you are able to bring in the drugs easily. In fact, someone told me, even recently, that we are borderless. When I say porous border, I say we are borderless.
People just go in
we don't have borders. So influx of drugs, influx of arms, influx of foreign fighters. Yes. And then you talk about illegally mined gold. That's illicit war economy.
Yeah.
They're able to take those things out of the country. Most of the time, it's true. They can't take them out of the country through our airports. It's through land borders.
Yeah.
They take them out, then to nearby country. From there, they can now go on whatever flight they want to go to. That's how they do it. So you see the multiple impacts of porous border on the country. And then because the border is porous, or we are borderless, foreign fighters are able to come to the country at will, and they seem to they are just everywhere now. Now, what happens is that even people that want to farm, they can farm. If you want to stop our problem now, one major aspect is to stop, to secure the border and prevent all these things from coming to the country. Now, I said all these problems are exacerbated by the situation in the Sahel region.
Okay.
So the level of instability in the Sahel region is critical. And we seem not to be factoring that into our national security.
But many of the people that are involved in these problems are not ordinary Nigerians. They're not ordinary Nigerians. There are very important, Senator Oshemole, actually said in the floor of the Senate, I don't know whether you heard it, that there are retired generals that are involved, especially in illegal mining. He said it on the floor of the House, Senator Oshemole. I don't know whether they've responded. The people that are causing this problem, AVM, they are not small people. How can we sort it out? Because of the size, the influence of some of the people perpetuating these things.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. They are not bigger than the country. They are not bigger than the country. Once the presidency is ready, once there's strong political way to solve the problem, they have to sit up. Yes, otherwise, if they don't stop it, they are arrested and all that stuff. It's just strong political way, and it's getting to that stage now that the situation will make us to develop that.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to develop that strong political way to address this problem. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country to live in. You
It's
can
very
see
true.
what is happening now.
Yeah. I want you to talk about what you said about the Sri Lanka civil war and lessons for Nigeria.
Okay.
Can you explain to our audience how Nigeria can benefit from how Sri Lanka, dealt with their own situation? Very briefly.
Okay. One major aspect is the issue of following merit. Merit in appointments. You see what they did? At the time, they realized that, look, we just have to follow merit. Competent, and there is no nepotism. They realized that they just have to put right peg and right O for them to get the results. That's one of the major lessons you could see. And again, the issue of border too, before they were able to really eliminate the tigers, say that they
The
had
Tigers
this
were they were the criminals,
the
they were
insurgents
the
in our own
insurgents.
situation. There was the sea blockade.
Okay.
It was that helped them, because that sea blockade prevented the tiger from getting supply. No route of escape.
And the Tigers are their own insurgents.
Yes.
Like our own Boko Haram.
So it's one of the things. If you read that aspect, you see that I talk about, try to link it up with our porous border, that we need to do something about it. If you, for instance, if you secure the border now, they are cut off. Another thing you see in the book, we talk about siege operation. We must have the capabilities to conduct siege operation. Okay, they are in this particular forest. We lay siege through technology on those forests to make sure that they are not able to go out and they are not able to get the supply from anywhere. In the sense that if they are trying to go out, they are neutralized because you are using technology. Unmanned aerial vehicle, things like that particularly. Then if you are getting some people are coming to supply them. By the time you lay siege, you weaken them.
Do you think that is what is happening in your state?
You see, the problems are...
Only local government around Ogbomoso, the situation.
We don't even have adequate capability to do that. We don't have. We don't have. Sometimes people talk about the military, this military budget is this, is that. Okay, it's not realistic. Many people even talk about security without in-depth understanding of it. And they provide solution to government. I think it has come to a stage now where if you don't understand security, you don't have in-depth understanding of what is happening in Nigeria now, just keep quiet. Don't say things that may influence the government. Because now, if you look at it broadly now, what we need to do, we need to neutralize the insurgents and terrorists in the country. 2, we need to prevent external fighters, foreign fighters, from coming into the country, weapons and all those things. Then we need to now we have to be in charge of our environment. Everything is technology. If you are going to be in charge of our environment using technology, technology is the surest way of doing it. Not even increasing the number of troops. Yes, we need more troops, but laying emphasis on technology, appropriate technology, is going to cost a lot of money. Particularly when you consider the value of Naira today. These things, we are not producing them. We are going to break. What I said in the book is that, look, we can just go on government-to-government procurement. But there must be joint, when I was saying there was no jointness on Friday, there must be joint capability assessment.
Okay. We will come to jointness because I also wanted to talk quickly about the socio-political polarization and also talk about the police, and then we conclude with the jointness. And we still have just about 10 minutes. So when you were talking about the socio-political polarization, you were talking about the fact that there are a lot of divisions in the country. There's ethnic division, religious division, ideological division, division again around economic status, the haves and the have-nots, and all of those things. I think it's actually the third most potent cause of insecurity. I found that quite illuminating. Can you discuss that briefly?
Now, when you have this kind of war, when you are fighting this kind of war, the best approach to it globally is what they call whole of society approach.
So that everybody is fighting.
Everybody is
fighting on one side.
One side. So you are fighting, everybody is fighting on one side, so you are able to make progress. You are able to report, give credible information to the military. So many things will be in place. Now, when you have this level of socio-political polarization, you cannot get that whole of society approach. And because of the level of polarization of the country socio-politically, you see that there's no national voice, there's no national resolve to solve our problems, critical problems. For instance, look at this Edda farmer's case. It's been lingering for many years now and costing wanton destruction of life and property. And there's no national voice. So because of that now, one major thing that must happen is that we must depolarize. The politician must depolarize the country. So, because let me say this thing. Because as long as the country remains so polarized like this, you can't
polarized is divided.
You are going to be having dissidents, you'll be having fifth columnists, you'll be having saboteurs, you'll have people that may even be in the military and they are not actually with the military. So because they have different interests. So the best thing we can do urgently now is to make sure we galvanize the people together by start reducing the level of polarization. We have to depolarize.
It's a very
socio-politically. Yeah. It's a major thing that must happen.
Yeah, it's a major.
Because now, sir, have you noticed that anytime some people don't agree with the policies of the government, that will be heightening insecurity?
Yeah.
Because there are sponsors.
Yeah.
That will be heightening insecurity.
My own worry is...
the problem is this, that it's like policymakers, decision makers, they don't consider the security implications of their decisions and policies. That's a major problem.
Yeah, and honestly, this is where I draw the line and say that, that's exactly why we have government. That is why government is in charge of the monopoly of the instrument of force and coercion. Yes. But anyway, very important point, and I actually find that illuminating, because I also think that is an important point. Well, I didn't know that it even rose in level of its potency. Yeah. Because I see that it's your third point.
Full of society approach.
Yeah. Let's go to the fourth factor, ineffective police force. And I read what you said there. You talked about how Georgia, which used to be part of USSR, the whole USSR, how they resolved their police crisis. Of course, a lot of people who follow global affairs can also remember that. But you didn't mention anything about state police at all.
Okay. In the first part of the book, state policing, community policing, treated.
Okay.
I treated them there.
Yeah. I want us to know whether you don't believe in state police.
It's not state police per se that will solve the problem. It's the quality of the police force. Now, we have to be very careful.
Is that
because the
these are not just your views. These are empirical. That's the interesting about your book. They are empirical data. This is what you found out from
specialists, operational commanders and things like that. Now, the issue is this. We have to be very careful now. People are talking to police, state police. If you end up having state police of the same quality with what you have now, the same welfare, the same equipment, it's going to worsen the security situation because the level of casualty on the part of the government will be increasing.
Yeah.
They will kill more people. So, like I said in the book, the problem of our police current is the ineffectiveness and corruption.
Yeah.
Just like the Georgia police.
Yeah.
And you see the method they use.
Yeah.
They use a big bang approach.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend that.
Of course.
A moderate,
I
recommended moderate big bang approach.
What I find interesting in your discussion of the police is on page 275, and I'm going to read what you said on the top of that page because, it's music to my ears because in my last edition, I did a take, the edition of last Sunday, where I said that, look, this opportunity that all of us seem to agree on state police is actually an opportunity for us to reform the entire police. It's an opportunity to change the perception. This is what you said, and I said, excellent point. That's what I put there. I said, the current state of police in Nigeria represents both a crisis and an opportunity. The crisis lies in the growing incapacity of the Nigerian police force to safeguard citizens and uphold justice. The opportunity lies in the potential to reimagine policing as a cornerstone of national development. That was the point I was laboring to make last week. Exactly. So when I read it in your book, I said, it's good that, we have a lot of people thinking along this side. So I wanted to ask you, now that all of us have agreed on this state policing thing, what do you think has to happen as we are going forward so that we can use this crisis, like you said, like I agree, as an opportunity? How should we manage it?
So one, if you're going to have, we are going to look at the entire police force, including the one we are planning to have now, that is state police.
Right.
We have to first of all identify the problem, the core problem of the existing police force, address them, and then make sure that even if we are going to have state police, we don't allow any of those things to come into place. But we seem to just be looking at let's have state police. Police. No, see their welfare, their equipment, so many things. Major is a major factor.
Let's move on to the final point because of our time. Okay. The effective defense architecture. Now, this is where I want you to, explain to us very, very well, what that means. One of the things that you said in your book is that there should be, we should convert the defense headquarters, the chief of defense staff to like the chairman of the joint chiefs of staff, just like the Americans do. Tell us, AVM retired, the practical things that must happen, some of the recommendations that you included. Talk about it now.
Okay. The issue is this, there are some documents, I don't need to mention them. There are some documents including the Constitution of the country.
Yeah.
And Armed Forces Act.
Yeah.
There's also defense, National Defense Policy.
Right.
3 fundamental documents. National Defense Policy encourages jointness, but the others do not, the 2 others do not encourage.
The Constitution and the Act doesn't encourage jointness.
Yes.
And
they are not
quickly define that jointness.
Maybe jointness, maybe, what do I call it? Maybe, we say encourage is the right word.
I think you should define that jointness quickly in 2 or 3 sentences.
Okay.
So that people can understand it.
Okay. In the way we can understand is that jointness will mean that the commander in charge of a particular operation has all the elements, whether it is land, it is air, it is maritime, it is space, whatever element you require, under his command.
Okay, so
he is in charge.
So let me explain it to you how that sounds, in the hair of somebody who's not a military man, so that you know whether that's what you're saying.
Okay.
So it means that, for instance, we have Operation Lafia Dole. That whoever is the commander of Operation Lafia Dole must have command over air, that is Air Force element.
Deploy for that operation.
Deploy for that operation.
Yeah.
Must have command over if there are naval elements, and of course the land element. That every element of the military force
that he will require to
fight. That. Now, so that means that is not happening right now.
It's not like that. It's not entirely like that. What I'm saying now is that, look, the services should be saddled with the responsibility of training and maintaining their assets.
So the Army service, the Air Force service, the Naval service should be saddled with training and maintenance. Okay.
Then, when there is an operation, the Chief of Defense Staff, that I said, should be the primary advisor to the President.
Yeah.
So, who is the chairman? So, he will appoint somebody, the person that will be in charge of that operation. So that man is not reporting to any of the service chief.
He's reporting to
him,
to the chairman,
and the Minister of Defense. That's all. So that's how it's supposed to be. So that's the jointness we are looking at.
This is very interesting.
If you don't do that, it's not that we want to conduct operation. We call the Air Force in. No, you remember that one story on the social media that went viral and very ridiculous like that, where this terrorist they bombed our MRAPs.
Yeah.
And then there was this story that they called in Air Force, and the weather was bad. In the first instance, the planning and the execution of that operation will have been decided by the joint forces under the Joint Task Force Commander. They would decide, they will have checked the weather where to should go operation and things like that. So they plan who will go in first. Air Force will go in first, or Air Force will do this. So from the beginning, it's supposed to be like that. We did a retreat in Asaba during Oga Leo Irabo's tenure as the CDS. And that was the conclusion, that there should be jointness. That was the recommendation. But it's not yet. It has not been executed yet. We have to do that. And you see in the book, I said that the president, because we're fighting one, we're losing life, and this thing, the thing is becoming messier by the day. So it should be a matter of executive order.
From the president.
The president.
And then
So
maybe
why they are reviewing those 2 books.
Yeah.
Executive orders should be released, and that will say that, okay, once they finish reviewing those other 2 books, then it will cease to be enforced. That's executive order.
Yeah.
But executive order now to restructure our defense forces.
And the 2 books that he is referring to is the Constitution and the Armed Forces Act.
Yes.
You know.
Now, for instance, if people, one of the things that can boost the morale of ground forces, the army, is when you have air power. You know air will go in first.
Yeah.
With air power is with you. It boosts your morale.
Yeah.
So you are able to perform better. We have seen these labs and we are finding it. So I know this president can do it.
Yeah.
Just issue executive order. We change everything.
This is
so we become more effective.
Yeah.
So it can even the theater can now be it can be Northeast theater, Northwest theater, this theater, and then based on this thing, and you determine, you do, like I talk about capability assessment, you look at what has been happening, what is happening now, and what may happen based on the way we are going, determine the capabilities you need, and then get those capabilities. It can be government to government basis, and then put them under the theater commander. Let him have all it takes to do the work.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. We've done almost 45 minutes all together Friday and Sunday about this. And it's quite exciting, you know, what you have written in this book. And the reason why we have also brought you here is because we believe that this is an empirical work. So you're not just talking about your own ideas or your own opinion. This is something that was gotten from research and survey of the critical people. And we will continue to talk about it and push it. Thank you so much for your service to our country. Thank you for your patriotism, and thank you for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm very grateful, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
And there you have it, another edition of Inside Sources. Like we always say, Nigeria will prevail. It means Nigeria will win because we keep on talking about the major issues. Thank you for watching. My name is Laolu Akonde. And by the grace of God, I'll see you at the next edition.